Alright, what's up guys? My name is Zach, and today I am driving a 2021 Volkswagen Golf GTI. Up front is a 2.0 liter turbocharged inline 4, and down below is a 7-speed automatic transmission. Now I am super excited to be driving this here Golf GTI from 2021 because I recently reviewed the Mark 8, and so this is giving me a fantastic opportunity to take a step back and see sort of where we came from to better understand where we're going. But before we get on to anything else, I have a website, zackpraedel.com, where you can buy stickers like this retro sticker pack or big friggin' bottle sticker, both with free shipping. You could also submit your own vehicle to be reviewed by me through a quick and easy submission form, no matter where you are in the country. And you could read my behind the scenes blog to see what I'm filming before it comes out on the channel. But let's get back to that 2-liter turbocharged inline 4 under the hood. Well, from the factory, it makes about 228 horsepower, which is definitely very respectable. However, the owner, Brent, has actually modified this car. It's a stage 1 vehicle, which means it has some bolt-on goodies and is said to make about 310 horsepower. That is one of the beauties of this car, is that if you do want to make more power, you can absolutely do that, and do that in a pretty easy and simple way. The power plant definitely is one of the huge advantages of this car. I love the power delivered, even in the stock GTI. Of course, a little bit more power up into the lower 300s is fantastic as well, but I've always loved the powertrain of the GTI. Struggling for traction on this humid June 1st, but that's okay. These are incredibly fun to drive. Not only is the throttle fun to play with, but the turning, the actual turn-in and driving experience, really, really tight, really direct, and just an absolute blast. You don't need more horsepower. 300 is a really healthy number. You don't need much more horsepower than that. Even at the base level, these cars are so fun, so enjoyable, and so easy to live with too, power-wise. I can drive it here, we'll put it back into eco mode quietly and comfortably, and yet when I want to turn it up, I can turn it up, but I don't have to turn it up, and that is a beautiful thing. Like I said, paired to its 7-speed dual clutch transmission, the DSG, and it shifts really, really fast, really, really fantastic. If you want to go with an automatic transmission, this is a fantastic one to go with. It's not slushy, very poignant, very direct, and very quick, and I like that a lot. Last but not least, of course, the GTI is front-wheel drive. So with that out of the way, let's talk about the interior. Well, in front of me, I have 2 physical gauges and a screen. On the left is the tachometer and coolant temperature, and on the right is my speedometer and fuel, as well as in the center, I do get a little information gauge, which I can customize and change around, that I really, really like. I think the gauges are simple enough and yet have enough information that I would like. So overall, I am a very big fan. On the steering wheel, on the left, I have my cruise control options as well as my volume. And on the right, I have a bunch of selector dials for that center screen we just talked about, as well as skip track, view, and voice commands. The overall look and feel of the steering wheel is fantastic. I love this Volkswagen badge center, as well as these sort of golf ball-like dimples on the outside. Really, really like that. I do get paddle shifters around the back, and overall, the steering wheel looks and feels fantastic. Off to the left, I have my headlight switches and gauge dimmer switches, as well as a climate control vent up top. And then on the door, I do have my mirror adjustments next to my lock and unlock. It's just sort of an interesting placement for the mirror adjustments, and they are heated, which is a really nice feature. And then I have my window switches down on the door below with window locks. Moving into the center, I get 2 climate control vents and my hazard switch, and then we get this awesome, fantastic infotainment system. I'm not going to harp on this for too long. However, a feature of the facelifted Mark 7 GTI this year of GTI is the fact that it gets a bigger screen, and I was unaware until this morning, this actually comes with Apple CarPlay, which is fantastic. Wireless Apple CarPlay is still somewhat hard to find in today's market. So the fact that the GTI had this well over a year and a half ago to 2 years ago, depending on manufacture date, that is just really sweet to see, and I love wireless CarPlay. Down below that, we do have our climate controls. Of course, we do have heated seats and very simple climate controls. I would have liked to have seen dual zone climate. I just love dual zone climate so much in my personal car, but not the end of the world. I get temperature off to the left, fan speed in the middle, and where to send it off to the right. I do get this big openable cubby. I get a USB port and things like that in there. However, the lid of the cubby is in piano black. I know it does have this little lip to use, but no one's gonna use that. Down around the shifter, I have the start-stop button up to the top left, and then my drive mode buttons. So this does come with several different drive modes: Eco, Normal, Sport, and Custom. I really love that drivability customization, fantastic, as well as my automatic start-stop on and off, and my traction control off. Off to the right, I don't get any buttons, just dead switches, and then the shifter itself, I do like its nice clunk into gear when you do put it into drive. It does feel very, very nice, and I'm a big fan of that. However, it is an automatic, so once you touch it, you don't have to touch it again. Then I have a 12-volt outlet, the parking brake, and then the cup holders. So we will do a big friggin' bottle test here in the 2021 Volkswagen Golf GTI SE, and unfortunately it fails the big friggin' bottle test. I didn't really expect it to pass. However, every failure tears at my heart. Then I do get a center console, nothing too interesting in there, and then the seats. Now this is the SE, so it just gets plain leather seats. It does not get the plaid seats, of which I would have liked to have seen. I really, really do love plaid seats, and the fact that they're still offered in 2021, that's what I would personally go with. However, the fact that they're missing in this car is okay. But speaking of seats, this is a 4-door, so let's go do a back seat review. All right, so we're in the back of the 2021 Volkswagen Golf Mark 7 GTI. Begrudgingly, I'm not super comfortable back here. The front seat is a little bit further back, probably than my driving position. However, if you do have a taller driver, this is going to be your experience, and it's not great. However, this is infinitely better than any 2-door GTI that has ever existed ever. And before you comment, before you say, Zach, I fit people in the back of my 2-door GTI all the time, just know that from the bottom of my heart, I don't care, because it sucks more than this. The 4-door GTI back seats, just getting in and out, will forever be better than the 2-door. But amenities back here, I do get my own climate control vents. Very nice, something that the Mazda 3 of the same year does not have. And I realized that over the weekend. I drove a bunch of people in my Mazda 3 to a wedding. It was 91 degrees, and I don't have rear vents in my Mazda 3. So they were roasting in the back. I was freezing in the front. Wasn't a good day. So having the vents back here, fantastic, and something that I overlook a lot, but hopefully going forward, I won't. I do get the center console with cup holders. Does not fit the big friggin' bottle, but that's okay. I get power windows and little tiny speakers in the doors and things like that. Headroom good, knee room not great, but the driver could be nicer and move up. Not the end of the world. Let's go take a quick look at the trunk and cargo space, and then we'll talk about the looks. All right, so around the back of the Mark 7 GTI, and something that I love and will always point out in every Volkswagen video until they stop doing it, to open the trunk just like that. How fantastic is that? First of all, we do get this nice cargo cover. I do really like that, and the actual back trunk space is decent for a hatchback. Out of a Golf product, this is pretty good. And of course, you can lower the back seats so you have more space. Coming in here, I do have a 12-volt outlet, which is fantastic. Moving over here, we just have some side clips for like a cargo net and things like that. I can pull up this. I do get a spare tire, which is really nice, and some modern cars don't give you. Even the base model Jettas don't come with that, which is kind of interesting. However, I love this portion of the GTI. I love that they're not sedans, they're actual hatchbacks. I don't know, I just love hatchbacks. Now we gotta talk about the looks, and I really enjoy the look of the Mark 7, especially the facelifted Mark 7, which is this car. I love the long, unbroken red line that goes across the grille into the headlights. I think that was a very nice touch from Volkswagen, but has since been replaced with an LED light strip for the Mark 8. I think the proportions of this car are fantastic. I really love the 4-door and the hatch. I think overall it works really well. And that does sort of tie into my final thoughts. As of this year, 2022, Volkswagen has released the next generation of the Golf GTI, the Mark 8, as you're seeing here in the Autobahn trim level with Jetta winter wheels on it. And I love that car. I really, really did. I don't want to get that twisted. I loved the Mark 8. Thought it was fantastic. The one I drove was in stick shift, which I prefer. And I think it just overall does the things really well. However, the interior, as more time goes on, I really start to dislike. Most, if not all of the buttons are haptics, which mean they're not actual physical buttons. They're sort of matte touch screens, I guess is the best way I can describe it. They're not actually, but they feel that way. It's a very strange feeling. And everything in there is piano black, so as soon as you touch it, your interior looks disgustingly covered in fingerprints. But this isn't the case. I love this interior. I love the way this interior is laid out. I love the look and feel of everything in here. I like the look of the car itself. And I think, really, truly, this is a turning point for the GTI. I have faith in the GTI as a vehicle. I think it will always sort of live on as this fun-to-drive vehicle, whether that be gasoline, hybrid, or electric powered. I don't really have an issue with that, but I do think this will be a turning point for the GTI. I think we'll be able to look back in later years and say, oh, that's when things changed. The Mark 7 to the Mark 8. That's when things started heading in this direction, whether that be a good direction or not. And so because of that, I think the Mark 7s will kind of be collectible, be desirable, because they were sort of this final frontier, the last lighthouse in vision for the GTI. I would imagine we would see these up on the auction block, especially in the 6-speed manual, saying, oh, that's when things changed. And so that's why I was so excited to drive this here Mark 7. This is kind of a swan song to all of the GTIs that came before it, and the Mark 8 is the start of something new. Sometimes new things can be scary, but this, not so scary at all. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Huge thank you to Brent for letting me take out his Volkswagen Golf GTI, his Mark 7. I was so excited to get back in the seat of not only another GTI, but another Mark 7. One of my favorite hatchbacks to come out of the 2010s for sure. And just get this really, really unique perspective, not only on this car, but on the Mark 8 in hindsight. So, huge thank you to Brent. But I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Don't forget to rate the video, comment on the video, subscribe if you really liked it. Take care, guys.